Hello there. Following on from a previous video, I'm looking at another Pinot Noir, this time labelled as a Pinot Noir. This is a Spatlese, a Trocken from an estate called Koehler Ruprecht, and it's their 2019 vintage. Now it's worth mentioning that although this may look like the label, and I think for most people that would be seen as the front label, actually that's the front label of this wine, because that has all the legal details that are necessary there to sort of tell us the producer's name, the grape variety, the ripeness level, the fact it's dry, where it's come from. It has the AP number, the lot number on there, the Pfalz, and the alcohol and the volume there. So everything that's required legally to be on the label is there. But I think most of us would regard that as the front label to look for on a shelf, and then there's an importer's label there as well. I suspect this is a very rare wine because I found that once I'd bought it, it disappeared from the merchant's listing, and I can't actually see any other listings for it anywhere else globally, so presumably it's a small batch wine that has sold out. But I thought it would be quite interesting to talk about, simply because it's a move on from a wine I've tried previously, which is the same vintage of Spätburgunder, so Pinot Noir, from this producer, but the other wine was a Cabernet wine, whereas this is a Spatlese. So Cabernet, a wine picked at full ripeness, and a Spatlese, one picked at late harvest, so higher ripeness. So possibly from the same vineyards, I don't know. This doesn't have a vineyard designation, so it could be from the same source or it could be from differing sources. But looking at the wine, we've got maybe a slightly deeper colour. I mean, the pigmentation is dark, and I would say that there's a slight purple note to the rim of this. So perhaps showing that although they're the same age, this wine is aging more slowly. It's still showing a little bit of youthfulness because it's perhaps a more concentrated wine. Swirling the wine in the glass, actually there are some tears showing quite quickly, and I think that reflects the fact that this is a full percentage of alcohol higher than the Cabernet wine from the same producer was. Let's look at the aromas. The aromas here are perhaps a little more restrained and closed in, and they've got more sort of more earthiness, more depth, and a greater intensity of riper fruit. This is more sort of dark plum, black plum. There are certainly sort of some earthy, truffly notes that are very attractive, sort of developmental notes. No obvious signs of oak. The approach to winemaking here at Koehler Ruprecht is to try and be as hands-off as possible. So the fruit's destemmed. I believe there's a certain amount of whole berry fermentation goes on. It ferments in stainless steel tanks. It's pressed and run off into barrels, a combination of 1,200 litre Stuck and 2,400 litre Doppelstuck, and it stays in there for about 2 years. Malolactic conversion is allowed to happen naturally. It's not induced by adding bacteria. And the wine's lightly filtered into bottles, so quite hands-off in terms of the winemaking approach. So let's have a look at the taste, shall we, and see what comes through there. Compared to the Cabernet, there's more intensity. There's more sort of chocolatey richness to the mid-palate. There's still good acidity lifting this, but it's not got the sort of the perfumed top notes that the Cabernet had. Instead, it's got greater depth and breadth across there. There's more structure. I mean, this is a medium-bodied wine. There's more structure, and there's a bit of warmth at the back there. The alcohol just rounding out the finish, and the finish has a sort of because of the tannins, has a sort of almost sort of cocoa-y, maybe slightly velvety texture. Very smooth. I mean, the tannins are beautifully ripe, but they're fine, and they have a sort of a dusty, velvety, that sort of textural nature. Yes, I mean, I think this is a wine with a certain amount of aging potential. It's not perhaps as harmonious as the Cabernet was at this stage of its development, and probably a wine to keep quite happily for 10 years or so, but not a wine that's readily available, it seems. So of interest in terms of the different expression of Spätburgunder you're getting from the same producer, but really only of academic interest there. So hope you find that interesting. If you do, please watch us again. Thanks. Bye now.